Hello, everybody. It's Avalon. All right, so I want to talk to you guys today because, I have people that leave comments on my videos, call me a middle-aged woman, and I don't know anything about kratom, and I just, and all this stuff, and that I don't, was I really, an addict, and I don't look like an addict, and all these different things. And here's the thing. I carried myself very well in my addiction. I didn't look the part. I had dealers and stuff questioned whether I was a cop or not. Because I just did not look the part. And I took advantage of that. And it helped me deceive people. It helped me con people out of money. And it helped me lie to people. They believed me because I didn't look like a drug addict. And now that I've been clean for all this time, I have fellow addicts that are in recovery that make comments to me about, well, I'm a real addict. I'm a real addict. You don't understand, that what a real addict. Now listen, I am not in a contest to be able to prove who was the worst addict. But I'm going to tell you something. Looks are deceiving. And I am not proud of the things that I did in my addiction. I did everything that anybody else would do to support their habit. I took advantage of the fact I had lost 85 pounds and I looked good. And I sold my ass for drugs. I robbed people right out of their wallets. I broke windows to get at people's purses and wallets. I shot dope with toilet water. I got Hep C. I shared needles with people and gave them Hep C, knowing I had Hep C, because I was an addict who didn't give a shit about anybody else but myself. I may not be on my channel telling war stories and telling everybody all the bad stuff I did all the time. But do not doubt how far down addiction takes a person. I was out there doing just what everybody else was doing. I would sit in a bathroom trying to hit. And I'm going to show you my arm, because I'm left-handed, right? So I'm left-handed. So I would try to hit here. Can you see it? That's the scar I have from trying to hit that vein. I have a little one over here, if you can still see, if you could see. But I used to hit my wrists because I just have terrible veins. So I would use a little needle, the little short ones, and I would hit right in these veins. And you can see that bump right there. That's where I missed once. And it's still there after 7 years. I would sit in a bathroom trying to hit and cry because I had gotten blood in the needle. And I knew it was going to clog. It was going to coagulate very soon and I wouldn't be able to shoot it. And I would cry. And blood would be dripping, but I couldn't hit a vein. I did it in front of my kids. I did it with my kids. Not at first. Not at first. My kids were teenagers. And I've talked about this on my channel before. That my kids were already using. And it was, my mind was at such a state that I thought it was a good idea when they suggested to use with me. Of course, it started out just snorting pills with them. Then it moved up. My daughter started dating a heroin crack dealer. They started staying in my house, and my rent fee was a bag of heroin a day. That's how much I charged them to stay in my house, a bag of heroin a day. My morals and ethics went right down the hill. I was using with my kids, smoking crack with my kids. I would sit in the bathroom and shoot up with my kids. I would cry because I couldn't hit a vein 45 minutes later. And I would be, it was total disgustingness. So when I hear somebody tell me, or I read it on a comment, that I don't know what addiction is, what a real addiction is, it pisses me off, because I was a mom who, I called the cops on my son when I found a spoon in his drawer. This before I did heroin. I was still snorting pills at the time. And so my idea of, me finding a spoon, a cotton ball, and a needle, I called the cops to have them come remove it out of my house. Because I wasn't down there yet. I was above that right at that point. But you know what? I guarantee you that that's how it goes. And that's how it went with me. It started out snorting pills. It went for like 10 years. Then I started snorting heroin. That lasted I don't remember how long, maybe a couple weeks. I don't remember. And then I started shooting up. And then I started sharing needles. And then I started needing water so I get out of a toilet. And then I start giving Hep C to people. And then I start sleeping with drug dealers and people to get drugs. And then I start doing drugs with my kids. And then I rob and steal from people that care about me. And I lie to people who care about me. And it all takes you to the same place. Untreated addiction takes me to the same place. Takes everybody to the same place. Thank God if you didn't use a needle, that you got out of it before you did. I swore I'd never use a needle either. And I looked down on people who did. I looked down on people, crack addicts. And then guess what? I became a crack addict. If I smoked crack, I always had to have 2 bags of dope to come down with, because I hated the come down off crack. So I always got 2 bags of dope, and I always made sure I had 2 bags of dope before I smoked crack, because I didn't like that feeling. Bath salt, sold all my possessions in a couple months. I had no furniture. So it shouldn't have to be to prove that you're just as much of a drug addict as somebody else. But it is when I want to help people with my story. And I want everyone to know that I was in the gutter. And the only difference is and why I wasn't sleeping under a bridge is because I had a lady who enabled me so much. She paid my bills. She enabled me. I lied to her. I stole money out of her bank account. She enabled the shit out of me. And that's why I wasn't under a bridge. Or else I would have been. Addiction takes you to, ultimately death. But, so I know what it's about. And to those, I've been getting a lot of comments also about Kratom and how don't listen to this woman because If you're not clean, if you take care of them, let me tell you something. And I said it before and I'm going to say it again. I have money in my bank account. My credit score is mid 700s. I vote. I am a grandmother. I have a nice home. I have worked my ass off to rebuild my hell of a life that I had allowed myself to get to in addiction. And I've built back a respectable life. And I take 3 teaspoons of kratom a day. So I'm still an active addict because of that? That I'm not really clean because I take 3 teaspoons of kratom a day? That's bullshit. I could go back and start using, and I choose not to. And something that helps me with my many issues, I have depression, I have PTSD, I have DID, and 3 teaspoons of kratom a day help me manage those symptoms so I can help other people and stay clean and free of that mess. You can judge me till the cows come home. But I'm not going to feel one bit sorry. I am not going to come on here and I'm not going to say that kratom is just horrible. I would rather somebody smoke weed or take kratom than to live the way I was living and live the way they were living. My God, get off your high horse and stop judging people. You don't know who I was. I wouldn't have trusted someone like me in their house. I would rob your medicine cabinets. I would rob your purse. I would rob your quarter jar. I robbed tips off of the tables in restaurants. I took money out of tip jars in ice cream stands. I would steal the money out of the tip cup. I was a piece of shit. And now I'm not. And I have recovery to thank for that. I have the AA program to thank for that. And I have kratom to thank for that. And I'm proud of it. Just celebrated 7 years. So I think I've rambled on enough. But please like this video and stay strong and don't let anybody dog you down because you take kratom or you smoke some weed when you used to have a needle hanging out of your arm. Brightest blessings and God bless.